What is up, everyone? Good morning. Welcome to the farm. It is one of those weeks on the farm where we're like, Lord have mercy. The joys of being a farmer. Anyone else relate? Anyone else relate? We're gonna get through it, but I'm out in the greenhouse today because I'm gonna be potting up eucalyptus. I'm starting some more soil blocks. So I'm out in the greenhouse today and I'm gonna do a greenhouse tour. I'm gonna share with you guys what I have started right now for our farm, for the plant sale, what I plan to sell and keep on the farm. And so, yay, I haven't done a greenhouse tour since this time last year. I did wanna mention though, that we have got our garden tool belts on pre-order right now. We partner with Northridge Designs. It's a local crafter here. And he does excellent work. You guys, this is one of my most used garden tools, and if you didn't think you needed it, I'm here to tell you that you do. But we decided to do a couple new designs. So we've got, well, I'll throw up some pictures here on the screen, but we've got dahlias, sunflowers, some wildflowers. I think they're all spectacular. I might have already ordered me one or two more. But if you guys want to get in on this pre-order, I think it's only open for like a week and a half. I'm gonna leave the description down below. You guys can go snag it. But I hope you have your coffee, your tea, whatever's floating your boat on this Tuesday, and let's do a greenhouse tour. If you wanna know how I keep track of what's going on in the greenhouse, when to start things, etc., I have got this chart here. I actually have multiple charts, and I divide it up by crop, seeding date, size, the number I need to start if I'm transplanting direct seeding, and then the location on the farm that it's going to go in. And so I go in depth about this system in one of my videos. I'm going to find it and link it right here. So if you're trying to get organized on your farm and figuring out what to start, this might be a good resource for you. But I'm going to introduce you guys to the greenhouse and we're going to get this party rolling. Alright, so I will say I do have some of my tomatoes and peppers for the plant cell in my house. It's actually dropped down pretty cold to where it's been getting low 30s at night, and you know, our plant cell is approaching. So April 16th is going to be the Bell Urban Farm plant cell. We are going to have plants and I'm going to be signing my book there, so I'll post more information about that later. But needless to say, there's kind of a timeline on those plants and I need them, you know, to move along pretty quickly. So I actually moved those inside just to where I can provide a bit more heat than what, you know, some of my plants are getting out here. So this is not everything. And I am still starting seeds every single week. So year-round, we are growing food on our farm, which means year-round we're starting seeds. And I'm hoping to really kind of document that journey a bit more because I know many of you guys are interested in year-round gardening and year-round growing. And so I'm going to share with you, I'm in Zone 7B, Central Arkansas, what I am starting year-round. Here are some yarrow that I actually just up-potted from my little mini 20 into the 4. And so all of this yarrow is just different varieties. We've got the summer pastel and the berries. I have some of this in my cottage garden now that did come back, but I just wanted to grow a little bit more. And so you guys can see these are kind of a slow grower, but they're a really great cut flower, and you can also save them and dry them as well. So that is actually what I'm going to be doing with my yarrow. I'm going to be growing this out in the cottage garden with the hopes that it'll keep spreading and multiplying every single year. But I am wanting to offer these dried floral bouquets and arrangements on our website, just to have a little piece of our farm to your table. And so it's kind of one of those ideas I've been stewarding for a couple years now, but it takes a lot of work. And so that is kind of what this yarrow is for. It's just a good experiment. But if you are thinking about a flower that will perennialize and multiply, yarrow is a great one. In fact, you kind of have to be careful. It can be a bit invasive, but it is beautiful. It comes back. It's a great filler. You can use it, like I said, as a cut flower or a dry flower. So there's just a lot of different purposes for that flower. Over here, I just seeded these last week. It's my Salanova mixes. You guys can see here, germination is about 100%. So that is so great. That's what I've got over here. Over here, we just have got some spinach. I started this in the mini 20 soil blocks. I'll put a link down below for them. This we're just growing for our family is what this particular one is for. Here I have more yarrow, just a different variety. This is called Flower Burst. And then this is Craspedia, which is a fun little like yellow ball. It makes a really fun filler. I've tried to grow this for a couple years now with just not a lot of success in my area. And since I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm going to try it again. Obviously some of these jars are doing better than the other, but I think they just needed to be up potted into more nutrients. I'm not really in a rush to get them out, so I'll just let these get a little bigger out here in the greenhouse. Over here we have got a orchid spinach variety from Baker Creek. We are actually growing this for a restaurant. I will say I'm having a little bit harder time with this than I am just regular spinach, which is pretty normal, but I should be able to transplant this out pretty soon. It is really, really pretty, as you guys can see here. It is that deep mahogany color. I think it'll be nice to add to a menu, but it has been a little bit more difficult to grow, not as consistent germination, so I started them all in just mini 20s, and then I just transplanted out up potted, you know, the best versions. So even though this is a greenhouse tour, I want to just kind of share with you guys some different styles of growing you're going to find here as we're doing this tour. You guys have seen I've done soil blocks. I have done those 6-cell air pruning trays. You're going to see 72-cell air pruning trays. And you might be asking, why is that? Why do you have such a wide variety of things? Certain things I'm starting in certain, you know, trays or containers because they are for the plant cell. Other things, you know, for our farm, I can easily start them in a soil block and then just, you know, transplant them out into our fields and our gardens, which make things a lot easier. And secondly, Bootstrap Farmer has been so kind to send me a lot of stuff, and so we are trialing out a lot of these different trays for Bootstrap and figuring out, do we like these, the 6-cell air pruning trays, the 72-cell air pruning trays. So you are going to see a lot of diversity here, but I would say that either one is great. It really does just depend on what your goals are, and as far as inputs, what kind of inputs you are wanting and you don't want to have. So that might just be something to consider. Back here we have got Sugar Rush Peach. This is a pepper. I've actually grown this before, but it's been a while. So some of these we're going to sell. We're going to keep some of these. I've got my Brad's Atomic Grape Tomato. We've got a Napa Chardonnay, which is a new one I've not grown before. Baker Creek catalog got me. And then we've got a Lemon Boy Plus. This is a hybrid. It's going to be grown in the greenhouse. We've got a Golden Sweet Grape, which is a grape tomato. And then we have the Sakura, which was the cherry tomatoes that we grew last year. Absolutely stunning. And we can't forget our tried and true Rebelskis. And then Abigail is a new red hybrid variety we're going to be trying this year as well. So right here we have some arugula that will be transplanted out. We have some scarlet kale, some Tom Thumb lettuce. And this is actually strawberry spinach that prefers to be direct seeded, but I was trying it out. And we have so many different amaranths. So these are 4 different amaranths. We have some lemon balm, some orange thyme, and then some elephant dill. So you might notice a lot of the things that I am starting actually are things that you can direct seed. So you might ask, why am I starting these? For one, I want to only transplant out the best, and I'm so condensed with spacing that I like to start as much stuff as I can and kind of play around with transplants when it comes to spacing. However, your spinach you can direct seed, all of your herbs you can direct seed. There's a lot of different things you're going to see here started that are either started for the purpose of getting a head start, having more freedom to play around when we get ready to transplant them, or I'm growing them with the intent to sell. So I want you guys to know that there's going to be a lot of things you're seeing here started already that can easily just be direct seeded if you're just growing them for yourself or your family. So over here I have things that I just seeded, so of course they've not come up, but that would be a pink dandelion, calendula, chamomile, and then we've got Seeker Blue, which is a status, as well as over here we've got Seeker White. We've got some Dusty Miller back here, some Pampas Plus, and some Sun Gold Celosia. Here we have a Carbon Tomato, which is an heirloom I'm going to grow in the greenhouse. And then these are Tidy Treats. These are a hybrid patio variety. Alright, moving on to the next tray, we've got some beets. I'm like the worst at pronouncing this. So I kind of do a mix of beets, and what I like to do is I like to sow 3 beets per soil block or per container, and then I will thin down to 2 and I transplant out 2. So I've got a mix here. This variety is like a pretty red and white. We have a boulder beet, which is this yellow you guys can see. And then we have a Crosby's Egyptian, which is a deep, deep red. And I've got this tray, and then I have a tray that I started about at a week's difference. Again, heavy seed, go in and just thin down. Here we've got all of those violas we started a while ago. So we've got the Heart Aqua. We have got the wine. Over here we have a purple. I think these are going to be really pretty. I've got more Salanova. This is the foundation collection. Here we've got a variety of pansy mixes. These have been pretty slow growers. I have a feather top ornamental grass. We've got some more scarlet kale here. And then here's the Premier collection. So half of it's Premier, half of it is foundation. You guys can see here the difference is just one's this like frilly texture. And then the other is this smooth texture. So that's kind of some of the differences. We like to do both and just mix them. Back there I have another tray, a Salanova. This is our eucalyptus, which is the silver dollar. Back here, and then all right here, we'll just up pot the healthiest transplants. Got some tango celery. This will be the first time starting celery from seed. I actually grew this for my friend, but it's done pretty well. And then I also started them some onions. And so again, I seeded 3 per little cell, which seemed to have worked really, really well. I got really good germination, and so that was encouraging that this was actually a pretty easy process. All right, up next, I just sowed some cucumbers for the plant cell. And so I just have these in the 35 soil block, and then I just did a small little trial of sweet peas for me. I have a hard time at that transplanting stage for sweet peas, so if anyone has any tips for me, let me know. But I've already got my first round of nasturtiums out, and so I started another round. You guys will see this is how we kind of implement succession sowing on our farm, is we'll stagger when we are starting them. That way we can stagger when we are planting them. That way they are all blooming and producing at different stages. And the idea with that is that we always either have something started, transplanted, or harvested, and that's really how you get in a good groove with year-round growing and succession planting. So that's just something that we do, which is a lot of kind of what I'm showing you. I've got a second round of spinach over here. I've got another thing of Salanova back here. We've got that orchid, which is that red spinach, and then a bunch of these flowers back here we just started. So let me turn you around and show you. We have some tangerine gem marigolds, which are actually these really small marigolds that you use as an edible topping. And so those germinations are really, really good. We've got some Gumfrina back here that hasn't come up yet. Some more ornamental grasses. I've got some millet, more Gumfrina, some more celosia. I'm doing the flamingo, the sun gold, and I think that that's all that's over here. We have some super crust celosia here, more pampas plum. We have some more status, some berries crazy cherries, black creme, and big rainbow. So for this, I've already started all these varieties for the plant cell, but I didn't have great germination, and so I just went ahead and heavy seeded some of these, and I'll just up pot the best. So a few other seeds that I just started that haven't germinated yet would be the Genovese basil. I did an opal basil. I have a sweet Thai basil, and then one I'm super excited about. It's from MI Gardeners, and it is the purple ruffles basil, and it puts on these big beautiful purple leaves. I'm envisioning using these as like a wrap, like to make a meal, veggies, or maybe even some sort of like fish or something like that, and wrap it up in the basil and eat it. So I'm curious how that will do. And then let's see here. We have got our Oklahoma salmon zinnias. We have got our yellow giant zinnias. We have got the whole Queenie Limes series. So we have Queenie Limes orange, Queenie Limes red, and then Queenie Lime's blush. And so we grow all of those to sell here, and so we will be doing multiple successions. So I just started the first succession, and then, you know, here in a few weeks I'll start another one. That way we can stagger them out as well, and we can have harvest a lot longer. So like I mentioned, I have got not all, most of the peppers and heirloom tomatoes inside. And I don't think it would be a proper greenhouse tour unless I shared with you some of those fun varieties that I know many home gardeners are gonna want to have in their gardens because the flavor is so great. So granted, this is a greenhouse tour, but I am gonna take you guys in the house just to share with you because I do think some of those varieties you'll really enjoy. I have made my way inside, and I'm going to share with you some of these heirloom tomatoes and peppers I am growing. Now most of these are for the plant sale, which means I'm going to be selling them, but I'm going to turn you guys around and show you some of the fun varieties that we have going on. Alrighty, so right here we have a variety that is called Blush Grape. These are all from Baker Creek. That's where I got all of my heirloom seeds from this year. Then we have a Blue Cream Berries. This is actually a tried and true for me. It is this beautiful little like gold yellow tomato, but then the top of it is just this blue shoulder, if you will. It's very, very sweet. It tastes really well. And as you guys can see here, I've got pretty strong little transplants. Back behind that, I have got a Mountain Vineyard Red Grape. Now this one is actually from Haas Tools. I've never grown it before, but I just wanted to offer some variety. Behind that, we've got a Berry's Crazy Cherry. They're a cherry tomato that grows in clusters, and they are fantastic. And then I've got a Black Strawberry Cherry, which I think I'm gonna steal a couple of these and grow them in the high tunnel just because they looked super, super beautiful. But they're all doing pretty well. Over here, we have a Black from Krim, which is a really nice smoky variety of a tomato. We have a Big Rainbow. This is a streaked one. I've actually grown this for a few years. We've got the German Johnson Red. We have a Paul Robinson, Dr. Witchy, which is one of my favorites if you like that fruity type of tomato and not as acidic. And then there in the very, very back, we have some tomatillos. And my peppers, I've really been struggling. This is a King Arthur Bell. I've got some habanadas back here. Over here, I have got the Carmen pepper, which will grow in our tunnel. We've got a Jigsaw pepper, which is a really beautiful variegated hot pepper. We've got a Red Ember, and then another habanado. So just some hot peppers. Those are things that were kind of requested at the plant sale. And so I've never really done a lot of peppers because obviously they take a really long time. So if you're growing peppers this year and you're wondering, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. They do like to have an additional heat source like a heat mat, and they are just really, really slow growers, which is why I always try to just avoid growing a ton of them to sell because I just feel like they don't ever size up in enough time. But that is it, you guys. This is what I have growing in the greenhouse and in the house right now. Like I said, we're really kind of getting into the shift of starting all of our flowers. We start those a lot later because they grow a lot faster. We still haven't started any of our cucumbers and a lot of other vegetables. So I will probably do, you know, another greenhouse tour, kind of an update after we've moved plant cell things out. But thanks for hanging out with me in the greenhouse. Don't forget, if you want to pre-order our tool belt, it's going to be a limited time pre-order. Make sure that you check the link down in the comments. But thank you all for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.